In today's video, we're going over the best dead zone settings you guys can use right now in Warzone with the new Rebirth update. I'm going to explain to you guys why dead zone is so important and how you guys can abuse aim assist with your dead zone settings. So with that being said, if you guys do enjoy today's video and learn something new, make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm always posting coaching videos and tips and tricks videos every single day. If you guys are not familiar with aim assist or dead zone, make sure you guys watch all the way through because a lot of this stuff is really important and you guys can go from missing all of your shots to basically hitting every single shot and having aimbot. So with that being said, let's hop straight into my settings. Alrighty guys, here we are in my settings. I do want to say real quick that this video is for console and PC players. It does not matter what platform you play on. This video is going to be a huge help, and I'm going to quickly just show you guys all my settings. Then I'm going to show you exactly how effective they work in the firing range to making your aim assist much more stickier. So in the dead zone inputs right here in the controller section, you guys will see I have my left stick and right stick set to 0. Now the rest of these I recommend you guys leave alone. You don't have to really mess with those too much, but these ones right here are the most important. My left stick is 0, and I recommend you guys put this at 0 as well. Most of the time, you don't really have stick drift in your left analog stick anyways, so 0 is perfectly fine. For the right stick, you don't actually need to have 0. I have 0 because I have really low stick drift in my controller. My controller is about 3 months old, and it's not really had any issues ever since I got it, so it's a really good controller. If you guys have a good controller, you guys can rock 0 dead zone, but it's not necessary. You guys can run, 2, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't really matter. You don't want to have anything crazy like 10 or 15 because that's going to make your response time a lot slower. So anything below 10 is usually preferred. But for the left stick, like I said, you want to have this at 0, and I'm going to explain to you guys exactly why you want to have this at 0. So the way this works is basically if you have your left stick dead zone all the way to 0, it's going to kick in rotational aim assist, which is basically whenever you move around, your aim assist gets a lot stronger. Now the fact that this is at 0 means that even the smallest inputs like stick drift is going to affect your aim, which is really good. It's what you want. If I turn my test stick dead zone on, you guys will see that I have absolutely no stick drift at all. If I move it around, you guys can see it's moving around. That's the left stick, right stick's moving around now. But when I leave it alone, it goes straight to about 0. You can see it's like -1 on the left and then -2 on the right for the vertical axis. But for the most part, most people are kind of like doing something like this if they have like a really bad controller. So if you guys have a bad controller like that, you might not want to use this. But if you guys are somewhere within this like first circle right here, you guys should probably go ahead and just play with 0 dead zone. I recommend that for the right stick as well. If you guys are like within that small circle, you should be good to go. You should just run like something like 3 or 5. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hop into the firing range and show you guys exactly why this is important. So here I am in the firing range. You guys see I have my controller cam to the right, and you guys can just monitor everything I'm doing with the controller cam. But basically the way aim assist works is, of course, when someone goes in front of your screen or if your reticle goes in someone, it's going to pull towards them. But aim assist isn't that strong if you're not moving like this. So the way this works is if I have one of these dummies go in front of my screen or my reticle while I'm aiming, nothing's going to really happen if I'm not doing anything with my controller. So I'm going to be completely still. I'm not going to move. When let's go in front of me, you guys can see nothing really happens. Now, if I start moving the left stick while aiming down sights, you guys will see that a much more stronger effect happens. Watch. See that? See that? It's starting to pull. Now watch. I'm not going to move my right stick. I'm just going to only move my left stick. Do you see that? Do you see how strong that is? That's why a lot of players that move around have lower dead zone is going to have a lot more stickier aim assist. I'm going to work on this guy back there too. Watch. I'm going to just like not move my right stick, only left stick. Look at that. It almost fully tracked him without me touching my right stick. Once again, I'm going to be on him. I'm going to move, and it moves with him. It did all that by itself. You guys see it. The controller cam's right here. I'm not touching the right stick. That's all just rotational aim assist. That's how strong it is in Warzone, and that's why a lot of pro streamers are able to just beam players from very far ranges or just hit every single shot. They're moving their left stick, so you guys should never stand still and shoot. I see a lot of newer players, they'll think that standing still gives them a better shot. It would in most games, but in this game, no. You definitely want to move, even if it means moving backwards. Moving backwards also helps, but moving left or right is a little bit better because you actually be able to strafe, which makes it harder for them to hit you, and you can kind of follow them. So if I was to like move to the right with this guy, watch, if I move to the right, see that? Has a very strong effect. If I move to the left with him, oh, I wasn't really on him. Whichever direction they're moving, you want to move with them because typically it's going to give you more aim assist that way too. Now, the last thing we'll talk about in today's video is controller vibration. A lot of you guys may have been told to have this off, and that's perfectly fine. If you guys do want this off and prefer it that way, that's totally cool. But the way I was telling you guys about dead zone inputs, controller vibration can actually help with that left stick because whenever your controller vibrates, obviously it's going to shake the controller, which is going to literally give you some inputs in your left stick. So it's going to be a little bit like this. See how it's like shaking? You know, when your controller vibrates, it's going to shake a little bit. And that means that you're going to be moving. And according to the game, it's going to kick in rotational aim assist. I've actually said this in my last video with my full console settings guide. So if you guys have watched that, you guys will have probably already heard this part. But that's why I would recommend, if you guys want to, you guys can turn on your controller vibration. It's not really that necessary. You guys don't have to turn it on. I usually have mine on, but you know, it's not that big of a deal. The most important thing is to make sure you guys have your left stick on 0 and have your right stick something low around, you know, 5 to 10 or lower if you guys can. And that right there is how DEADZONE works. That's how you guys can abuse aim assist in Warzone 3. So I hope that was pretty simple to understand. I'm trying my best to explain without speaking too fast, but if you guys feel like I might have missed something or there's something you guys didn't understand, make sure you guys comment down below. I will try to respond to every single comment for this video. I don't really think that players realize that DEADZONE settings is probably one of the most important, if not the most important setting when it comes to just having better aim in general. Most of the pro players aren't really that good. It's just the game doing it for them. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to say it. And for anyone that wants to say, oh, Cronus user, guys, this game has the lowest recoil I've ever seen in a video game when it comes to shooting. Trust me, you do not need a Cronus to shoot straight in this game. Most of the guns already have no recoil to begin with, and it's not hard to counter recoil by literally just pulling down in the opposite direction of the recoil pattern. It's not hard. If you actually need a Cronus to play this game and shoot straight, that is really, really sad. But anyway, that's all I have for today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, love, and understanding always.
Resurgence has been deactivated.